Hello again, YouTube, and not gonna take that 3 different times this time. Nope, just the first one. I don't know about you, but all I could see in the last video was this thing. Just like shiny, shiny everywhere, and um, I decided I would tell you what it is. This is my MIT brass rat. So it's not made of brass. It never was made of brass. The gold colored one looks like brass. This is just the wear it around, wear it to shop class. Don't worry about banging it with hammers kind of metal. But anyway, so this is an MIT brass rat. I don't know how close up you can get. Looks like pretty close. Cool. All right. So you can see MIT. That's where I went to school. Well, I'm not done yet. I was supposed to be done in that year, 2015. And I'm going to tell you the story about why I'm home and not at MIT. So, that would be over here my answer to what is it like to burn out as a student at MIT? And I have always thought that this answer would much better be read than written. So here we go. What was it like? It was the best thing and the worst thing that ever happened to me. See, when I was getting diagnosed with depression, getting diagnosed with bipolar anxiety, the stuff, I was on like a one very fast track road to where I wanted to go. And in my world, burning out was quitting and also weakness. And I just, no, that was not something I was going to do. I wasn't going to burn out ever. Yeah. So it was just unacceptable to me. And I was completely in denial, just completely of all the signs. Even as, like I said, I started getting treatment, even, whatever. My parents told me they literally would not have allowed me to go back to MIT for my last semester, except that they thought I would literally have disowned them. And I don't know that they're wrong, to be honest. So you gotta understand, I am 100% literal when I say I would never have taken leave if there had been anything I could possibly do to continue that another semester. So I was 7 semesters through. I only had 1 semester left. If I could have done it, I would have done it. But the thing is, I had to do a thesis. And to do a thesis, you got to do a thesis proposal. And this thesis proposal I did not write. Therefore, I could not go on to the next semester without taking an extra, I would have taken something extra time. And taking extra time was also, whoa, very not my one track, fast track thing in my head. So it was a sort of like, well, it's either I take med leave or I had this expensive extra semester thing, and both of those are like weakness, and okay, well, I'll come home. And I thought that so in the month of January, MIT doesn't have normal classes. We just have like extra stuff and fun stuff, and so I thought I was going to take January and just get better, because that's how I thought it worked. And if you know anything about this, you'll be laughing at me. That didn't happen, but you know, where did it go? I had my place. I had my place in my answer. So sorry, guys. I'm not gonna edit this. um. Anyway, I thought I was gonna get better over January. That was not gonna happen. So I came home, and I've been home for 3 years. And basically, what happened is I am becoming the person that I have always been, and I've always wanted to be. And honestly, it's been great. Other than crippling depression and not getting out of bed and not wanting to shower, and some hypomania mixed in there, and like ridiculous anxiety around I want to go to work on time and all this crazy shit, you know. But the working on that was actually really important and really useful and nice, and I'm not fun maybe sometimes, but fulfilling definitely. And the people that I've met since I've been home have been some of the most important people in my entire life. Like, just wow. I mean, I could not have imagined people were going to have this kind of effect on me that I liked. And I'm really still just digging it. It's great. Um, so, I had to go to a lot of therapy. I have still not been through all the medications. I'm looking at them over here. You're not going to look at them. I mean, I'm like on 7 different medications now, and I have been on 7 different medications from like the time I went up for like 3 years, and they're still not doing the job enough for me to. That's why I'm on sitting here on YouTube, is because, shout out to Jump Cut, but they had an ad at the bottom of some like Harry Potter YouTube video I was gonna watch, and so I looked at their ad and they said anyone can make money on YouTube, and I said, well, fuck it. I'm not doing anything else. The last thing I've been doing that makes money is pet sitting, and guys, like, I'm still too anxious to answer the phone when people call me and want to like have me pay me money to take care of their pets. I don't even want to answer the phone. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a break. And I decided I'm gonna do this YouTube stuff because it's fun. And if it makes money, it makes money. If it doesn't, I had fun. And that's the whole thing with Cora too. Is I said that looks fun. And actually, one of my friends was like, Katie, you can't talk to me this much. And this is something I'm not used to at all. I am quiet. I am shy. I'm sure you're very like, Katie, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I know. I mean, I was a bookworm, just like, I didn't want to talk to anybody ever, like even my friends. I didn't want to answer the phone to anybody, even if I knew they were my friends. And I just, but this was my friend. Like, I ended up just talking his ear off, and he was like, you got to put this somewhere else. So I went into Cora. That's where I put it. And so, there's that. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So when I first got home, there was a lot of arguing with my parents, my friends. I mean, there's still a lot of arguing because it's just not, depression does not make sense. If it made sense, it wouldn't be a mental illness. That's not how it works. So, I'm in here, and my parents are kind of like, at this point, like, all right, it's been 3 years. We're not going to pay your phone bill. Like, you got to get a job. And okay, guys, like, I had a job for 2 years. I was paying my phone bill. I was paying for the car. I was helping with a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, it wasn't everything, but it was a lot. But that's a different story. So there's been a lot of that. And then some of my friends just really didn't get the whole, like, I'm not talking to them, but that doesn't mean I'm, like, not talking to them, Like, I'm not purposely excluding them from my life, and I'm also not, I don't know. One of my friends was very concerned and had a lot of suggestions, and if you're depressed, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And I knew perfectly well that these suggestions were not going to help me, or I kind of tried them already, or like I could imagine what was going to happen. She was like, you got to travel. And I was like, no, but that's just going to cost me money. And I love traveling. I mean, I really do. I fucking love airports. Okay. So it's not just that I'm not saying no because I don't like it. I'm saying no because I know that when I get back, it's going to be exactly the same. It's not going to change anything. And, she got mad about that. And there was a lot of that kind of stuff. Just people trying really hard because they really cared, and just not really actually, whatever, but it's all right. It's all right. This list is just reminding me of things. I got engaged, and then I got disengaged. That's what I call it. And then I've had lots of other partners. I'm polyamorous, so there's a lot of stuff going on at the same time. I have become a Renaissance villager, circa 1544 on the weekends. the Bay Area Renaissance Festival down here in Tampa. I've been writing poetry. I will totally be reading poetry on this. I'm going to look a little bit into copyrights. If you know anything about copyrights and you want to tell me, that'd be sweet. But otherwise, I'll figure it out. And man, my first open mics, I'm just remembering now, like YouTube, you have no idea. Me sitting in front of you just like rattling off video. My first open mic, so I love Billy Joel and I love the Beatles, and I was totally in love with my friend who took me to this open mic. And she also loved the Beatles and Billy Joel. And it's one of those things, you know, my aunt always told me, my aunt was a singer for a while, that you have to bring the lyrics. Because my aunt one time had to sing the national anthem for some like sports ball game, and she forgot the lyrics. And everyone's like, how could you possibly? But it's just when you get up there and staring you in the face is like really bright lights and different colors of lights and moving lights and just, oh my God, guys, it's crazy. And there's just people everywhere. And you just can't think straight. And I'm, for my first open mic, you know, standing up there, that's already something like, oh no, in front of my crush, who doesn't know I'm crushing on her yet, and in front of all these people, and all these people know these songs, because I picked really popular songs, because I picked ones that I thought I knew the lyrics to. So I did like Norwegian Wood, like everyone does, and I did, oh God, what did I do? Billy Joel, The River. What's the actual title of that? See? I can't even remember the actual title of my song right now. I'm gonna like type in in the description for this because I'm gonna be so embarrassed. But that's how it is. And I just have to keep doing things like that. And oh my God, what else is on this list? Reading. Okay, like I never in a million years thought I would have to pick up a book and just put it down because I couldn't focus or concentrate. But that's what happened. That's why I had to stop doing schoolwork, is because I looked at it and it looked back at me and nothing happened. It was it was not good. It was very, very strange. So I hate audiobooks, but I have learned to love them because some audiobooks are well done enough that I can actually listen and retain the information without having to skip back like 50,000 times, because there are still some podcasts that I cannot listen to because I just don't get it. It's too much. It's too much at once. But so I was dating this person. And so I argue a lot. I went to MIT. I mean, what the fuck? Like, I argue a lot. And the person I was dating said, we were just texting too. Like, so there was no there was no volume, there was no moving anything. This was just text. And I get back a text and it says, you're scaring me. And my heart just went boom. Wow. It just felt like the center of the earth. That's where my heart was. And immediately my next thought was, I got to do something. What can I do? And it ended up being something really great for me because I went and read audiobook. I don't know, that's a verb. Nonviolent Communication, Marshall Rosenberg. I'll also link to that because it's awesome. And this was something my partner had suggested, or at least told me about. They told me that this was something important to them when they were growing up. But I'd never... it's a self-help book, basically, right? Like, so I'm sitting there thinking, oh, God, self-help book, no. But when I figured out, oh, man, all right, if I want to be with this person, and you guys, This is the person I eventually got engaged and disengaged to. I wanted to be with them. And I said, I remember there was this book, and I went and looked up the audiobook, and it was the first audiobook I'd ever listened to. And I paid my $17 or something or whatever, and I listened to that shit all the way to the Renaissance Festival every morning, so that I unknowingly associated Marshall Rosenberg's voice with these coconut cashews that I had been eating for breakfast every day. It was only on the weekend, so that's what I had for breakfast on the weekend, driving over. And now, like, every time I listen to Marshall Rosenberg, it's like coconut. It's really weird. Anyway, I listened to the whole thing, and it's just, for me, it was totally revolutionary. It was like, oh, okay. So to this person, actually, is sort of the only reason I ever stopped thinking that there was like one correct perspective in the world. When growing up, that's just how it was. That's just how it was. Usually I was right. If I wasn't, usually my mom was right or my teacher was right, you know? But sometimes it was never made clear to me that like people could have different perspectives that could be valid for them, you know, especially emotionally. And I'm not really talking about like choosing your facts here or whatever, or just someone being scared. And oh, yeah, they have every right to be scared of me. They could also not be scared of me, but this is what it is. And if I want to be with them, I got to do something about it. And it was just, this whole book is like, what do you need? What does the other person need? Like, what are you each trying to get? Because a lot of the times we don't actually pay any attention to that at all. So that was, like I said, revolutionary. And then also from this person that I was engaged to and disengaged to, they gave me a podcast. And like I said, this is not something I've ever done before. Podcasts, like the previous one they gave me actually had been one that I had to kind of, I didn't end up getting through it. But this one, first of all, it was really funny. Second of all, it reminded me of the voice, like the accent of someone I had dated, someone else. So I'm sitting here listening to this guy who's hilarious. Sounds like someone I am in love with. And he's talking about Taoism. Okay. I've never, ever heard, I don't do religion. Like, I kind of got all the way up to atheist and then just started calling myself non-religious because I just didn't want to talk about it. It was not interesting to talk about after I got out of high school. It's just, you know, these are the same debates over and over, and I'm just done. But he's like, oh, I think you would really like this. So I trusted this person, and sure enough, you know, we get to a part where the podcast author is talking about Charlie Parker. Fucking, I love jazz. He's talking about the bird. He's talking about like jazz improvisation in relation to Taoism, and I'm just like, I'm done. You got me. It's fine. You got me. Okay, so I thought my partner and I were both listening to this. Come to find out, he only got a couple lectures in. Of course. And what did I do? I went and bought the Tao Te Ching, a book. It's really like a little book. It's nice because it's like just poems. It's 81 poems, so it's very short. And then I said, okay, I need something I can listen to also because I'm having trouble reading. So I went on YouTube, thank you, YouTube, and found Ursula Le Guin, recipes, jeez, reading her and her father's version of the Tao Te Ching, and oh my gosh, I listened to that. I must have listened to it 3 dozen times already, because because I listen to it when I am sad or I am like having trouble falling asleep. And it's only like an hour and a half long, so I usually fall asleep before that, but you know, it just then I come to realize that my partner never read this, never listened to it, and that's when I realized, oh, I guess this religion kind of just adopted me, and it works out because it's more of a philosophy than like a religion. But it doesn't. It's I think someone on Quora was talking about how it's kind of pagan. There's not like creator gods. There's just this is how things work, and it doesn't conflict with science in any way, which is very nice to me personally. Anyway, so there's Taoism, and I fucking went to Korea. That was fun. As my partner went and worked there, and I mean, I earned that money with my job, and I planned that. Even like I had to email the South Korean government and figure out which of my medications were legal there, and what to do like when I got to customs and shit. Like it was crazy, like just ridiculous. There was that. Oh yeah, speaking of crazy, I was about to apologize. I usually try not to say that, but it's harder not to say it than it is not to write it. But I'm legit crazy, right? So like I went and spent 5 days in the mental health ward. It was real scary and real strange, and I have some stuff on that too. I've got some writing on that. And then another friend sent me another self-help book, and I was like, okay. He was like, really? You're gonna, like, these are important. You should read them. Okay. They were really important. You should read them. The one I read was called There Is Nothing Wrong With You. It was very influential to me. Right, I had a job. Okay, so I got hired. Great. I got promoted. Great. But actually not so great, because the office stuff, corporate stuff was less. I wasn't as good at that, especially when there were like 3 people telling me 10 things to do at the same time. That's not what I do. But my brain doesn't work that way. Like I just shut off. And I guess what happened is like some of the kids that I was tutoring were mentioned to my supervisors that I was like being confusing, or like I was down, and just because I was disoriented, really. They didn't tell me until they decided to demote me, which I guess is better than firing me, sort of. But that's another story. Just there is just so much that has happened, and not even. Man, I wrote this probably a couple months ago, and even just in the last couple of months, there's been more stuff that I would have put on this list of just things that happened since I came home from school that just totally like blew my mind. And so was it like to burn out? Well, okay. You don't get to go to school. People are confused. You were confused. And then you just start learning things, and you just start learning until at some point, you learn enough that you figure out how to get yourself back on track. And I'm not there yet, but YouTube, I think that's this kind of part of it. And the most important thing is everything is that at some point during group therapy, like the first couple of weeks I was home, I was still clinging very hard to my perfectionism and my like one-track mind. And I was in CBT, and they were telling me, you got to change the way you think. Basically, I don't want to mischaracterize this, but they're basically saying you got to be kind to yourself. You got to take care of yourself. And that's not something I'd ever even thought about, really. I just barely started to kind of get away from like super duper perfectionism, because when you go to MIT, there's a lot of perfectionism around you, and you can see very clearly it's not a good idea. You know, man, I knew people that were doing that man sleep schedule, and I knew people who were like staying up for 3 days at a time and then sleeping a day and then 3 days, and oh my god. And people who just like weren't eating right, who were like actually abusing caffeine. Like, it's hard to do, but you can do it. And so I was already kind of on, and I joined a sorority, which is just this beautiful, I never knew that was going to be a wonderful thing, but it was. Down south, it's, you know, not always good to join a sorority, but MIT is, you know, kind of quirky everything. And it was just a bunch of people who were like, man, I love you, and I'm going to take care of you, and especially, you know, we're going to get bigs and littles, and you're going to love each other and take care of each other, and we really did. You know, that was really important too. But still, it took everything I have just said. I would probably have talked your ears off for 10 minutes by now. And it took all of that. And it took me going out for lunch with my friend, the one who kind of got angry at me, and wanted me to basically follow her suggestions. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with suggesting things, but I wasn't going to. But I felt bad. Like, I felt guilty. I felt like maybe I was doing something wrong if she was so upset about this. And I remember, like, I curled up on my bed, like, in front of where I'm now speaking to you. And I got out these Post-it notes, which I still have somewhere. I took everything. Hurricane Irma came through, and we had to take everything off the walls. But Post-it notes exist somewhere. And I wrote on them that kindness is the only thing that works. And that I had to live by that. And that was hard for me to live by, because what I had always gone by was more like, work is what works. Just keep going, you know, try harder, or like try something else, or keep working, basically. And it failed. And I'm telling you this as a scientist, that the only reason that I was capable of changing my mind from just work harder and like just find a different way to work, and basically that thing, how does it go? If you want something done right, do it yourself. That's really the core of what my beliefs were. But that implies that if something is not done right, you either did it wrong or you didn't do it. Either you messed up or you didn't have enough of a hand in it to make it go right. And that's a great way to blame yourself for everything that happens to you. I highly do not recommend it on, you know, personal experience. But I clung to that until I was curled up on my bed thinking, oh, I don't know what to do. Well, fuck it. I'm going to try being nice to myself. I'm going to try being kind and compassionate to myself. And I swear to you, I would not have stuck with that if it didn't work. And I'm talking in like a statistical sense of the word evidence, like it's the only thing that worked. And you know, everything else I tried failed statistically. Like, I mean, I can't quote numbers, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, you can tell if you do your experiment and like your data's all over the place and you're not going to be able to use it. You can tell if your data is very clear and you know you're going to get like a ridiculous alpha value. Like it's going to be so small and you're going to publish it in this great paper. That's what it felt like. Everything else I tried hurt me in addition to failing. And then everything I did to be kind to myself worked and helped me keep going, which is what I was really worried about. Is like I was worried I was going to stop. I was worried I was going to give up. But really, what felt like giving up was actually going forward. And another thing that was just kind of something that happened along the way was okay, right, so I went to MIT, right? I don't give up. But people were so worried that I was gonna just give up. And like, first of all, okay, I just told you how much it took to get me to give up my original lifelong, I mean, that's kind of hard. My original methods here to even just change to different methods. And people still get worried that I'm gonna, I don't know, not go back to school or something. And like, guys, I'm like, I don't even know how to give up, guys. I just changed. Anyway, so if you're in this position, and don't listen to, you'll know if you're giving up. I think everyone knows what it feels like. And honestly, I don't know, I'm kind of giving up now. I'm taking a break, sort of, from messaging people a lot. I turned my phone off, and it has been off for like 3 days. Because it just was a lot to me. It was hard trying to keep up with things, you know, even though talking to people is probably good for me, but this seems better. It feels better. And you know, so that's what burning out was like. It was awful, and then it taught me to be more compassionate, and I've been able to have so many fascinating life experiences that I just would never have taken the time for if I had kept on going at MIT. And all that is because I burned out and came home. So yeah, like I said, the best thing and the worst thing that ever happened to me, and maybe the worst thing that happened to you, because what God, has it been like 20 minutes right now and I just talked to yourself, but fun times. Hope to see you all again soon. And now I'm gonna keep awkwardly talking as I try to look at you while I stop recording.